Ancestral lands. I was reading some of Netanyahu's recent statements about our ancestral lands. Made me wonder how things are going in my ancestral lands. There's Harrow, where I was born, but I don't think he meant that. There was Pinner, Rickmansworth and Muswell Hill, where I was brought up. I don't think he meant that. There's Whitechapel and Bethnal Green, where my parents were brought up. I don't think he meant that. Oh, there was Brockton, Massachusetts, where my father was born. Maybe not there either. There was Westgate, Newcastle, where my father's mother was born. No, maybe not there. There were various places across Poland, Lithuania and the Austro-Hungarian Empire where my great-grandparents and even their parents came from. Perhaps he meant there. In fact, he mentioned some other places that I remember from RE lessons in school. They said the Son of God walked about in those places doing miracles. To tell the truth, I don't know for certain my ancestors did come from there. After all, people have all sorts of habits to do with who they marry, so you can never be dead certain where people in your family come from, can you? Could be Greece or Iceland. And then there's a story about how the people from these biblical ancestral lands went about converting people around the ancient Greek Empire. And even if they did come from where Netanyahu says they came from, I can't just go there and say, hey man, my ancestors come from here, that house is mine. Can I? Can I? I mean, I can't even go to the flat where I lived in as a kid, ring the bell and say, hi, this is my ancestral land. I don't think I'd get very far with that. Genocide. If it can be proved that it's not genocide, that would be a huge relief. It would mean that it's only a huge massacre, mass killing, and widespread slaughter. In which case it would be okay. The land. They stood on the hillside and said, we're home. We're back where we belong. The land belongs to us because God gave it to our ancestors. Another family stood on the hillside and said, who did the land belong to before God gave it to your ancestors? Another family stood on the hillside and said, what if the land belonged to all sorts of people and always has, no matter what you think God says? Don't mention the children. There was a headline in The Guardian on the 24th of the 7th, 2014 that said, Israel bans radio advert listing the names of children killed in Gaza. Don't mention the children. Don't name the dead children. The people must not know the names of the dead children. The names of the children must be hidden. The children must be nameless. The children must leave this world having no names. No one must know the names of the dead children. No one must say the names of the dead children. No one must even think that the children have names. People must understand that it would be dangerous to know the names of the children. The people must be protected from knowing the names of the children. The names of the children could spread like wildfire. The people would not be safe if they knew the names of the children. Don't name the dead children. Don't remember the dead children. Don't think of the dead children. Don't say dead children. Kibbutzim. When I was 15, I said to my dad that my friend Dave says the kibbutzim in Israel are socialism. My dad said, who can live in these kibbutzim? I asked Dave. He said Jews. I told my dad. He said, socialism for just one people? Is that socialism? Promised land. A family arrived and said they had papers to prove that his house was theirs. No, said the man. My people have always lived here. My father, grandfather, and look at the garden. My great-grandfather planted that. No, no, said the family. Look at the documents. There was a stack of them. Where do I start? Said the man. Oh, no need to read the beginning, they said. Turn to the page marked Promised Land. Are they legal? The man said. Who wrote them? God, they said. God wrote them. Look. Here come his tanks. What about? There are some bad things going on in Gaza, she said. But what about October the 7th, they said. Lots of people are getting killed, she said. But what about October the 7th, they said. Many more people are getting killed than on October the 7th, she said. But what about October the 7th, they said. People were getting killed before October the 7th, she said. But what about October the 7th, they said. This stuff didn't begin on October the 7th, she said. But what about October the 7th, they said. The Liberal. Please consider the plight of the Liberal. They've shed tears for refugees. They've shed tears for the Ukrainians. They've shed tears for the famished, the downtrodden, the battered, and the orphaned. And now you want them to shed tears for the people of Gaza and the people of the West Bank. How cruel can you be to ask so much of decent people? Haven't they given all they can give? Can't you see that they're suffering from compassion fatigue? How dare you expect them to notice the dead and the dying, the starving and the orphaned? How can you be so cynical as to expect them to wonder why thousands of buildings are flattened, or even why it is that people are building houses on the West Bank, preventing others from harvesting their olives, or even why it is that people are gathering on the edges of Gaza looking to see where they will build their houses and hotels where once others lived and worked? Please consider the plight of the Liberal. Please don't be cruel to the Liberal. Please don't expect too much. Careless words. The Prime Minister said that people in Gaza lost their lives. That was careless of them. They must have been careless about where they were standing, or sitting, or sleeping. They didn't get out of the way. They were forgetful about health and safety, perhaps, like walking out onto the road without looking, perhaps. He seems concerned. Maybe he hopes that they will get their lives back. Some kind person will hand them back to them, perhaps. Maybe he wonders where they lost them. Now that he's seen pictures of streets turned to rubble, maybe he thinks that they got lost underneath some bricks or slabs of concrete. This may perhaps lead him to wonder what it was that caused the buildings to fail. He must have found out by now that it wasn't an earthquake. Perhaps he wonders if it could have been anything like the London Blitz, an event we remember with horror and sadness. So why would anyone do such a thing today? Why would anyone use weapons against civilians so that they end up losing their lives? Surely this would be something that our Prime Minister would think of with horror and sadness. But it seems not. It just seems to have happened because the people of Gaza were careless. Thousands and thousands of people were careless. The careless people of Gaza. The concerned Prime Minister of Great Britain. What can you say? Trump talked of 1.5 million people, and he wondered aloud, what if we just clean out that whole thing? He wondered aloud, what if we say, you know it's over? What do you say, you people we vote for, you who shroud your soft bodies in suits and sit enclosed in the safety of offices, in the towers of glass and steel, you who sit on TV panels shaking your cheeks with horror at outrages round the globe, what do you say to the man who talks of cleaning out people, like the people are unclean? What do you say to the man who talks of people as that whole thing, like the people are a thing? What do you say to the president who talks of the people of Gaza as if they are an unclean thing? And what do you say to us?